It's time for the Nerd³ Podcats! Yay!
I'm so sad we left the EU. And I'm so happy we stayed in the EU. See, it's still Dan's joke.
You actually stole my joke.
Matt from the new prison camp he lives in Ireland.
Wow.
I did steal your joke, which isn't even in the vault.
Let's not talk about EU. Let's talk about very important things, because there's something I think we all have to talk about that is the most important thing that has happened in the past couple of weeks, and that is that Roman Reigns has been suspended for violating the wellness policy.
Can someone explain to me what he actually did? Because I can't find anyone that tells me what it means.
Okay, the wellness policy is generally basic. It's basically just
it's
do you
all
take
drugs.
Steroids.
It's
steroids.
not steroids. It's not just steroids. If like Adam Rose, I really did steroids. He looked like he was on that.
Oh yeah, but Roman Reigns, it seems it's very. A lot of people are reporting that it is steroids.
Because it feels like that policy is so wide, he could have done a lot of things wrong and still have fallen foul of that wellness policy.
Yeah.
I mean, he could have committed jaywalking. He could have not looked both ways before crossing the street.
It's always drug-related stuff, as far as I can tell. It's like, don't do drug-related things. What happened is, basically, every wrestler since the year 2005, like, they're all dead now. So, wrestlers die faster than anyone else. So, finally...
Hulk Hogan is totally still alive.
Yes.
Not in WWE's eyes.
Yeah, I was going to say, he kind of is, but also he's not.
He doesn't need to anymore. He now lives in a mansion made of solid gold.
A lot of wrestlers die, so the WWE after a while went, hey, let's just have this thing where we actually make sure they're staying healthy. A lot of people go, that's kind of bollocks, but the fact that Roman Reigns is their top guy, and they've kicked him out when he was about to be set up for a wonderful Shield triple threat match.
No, this is interesting, because it said they knew about it before Money in the Bank, and they kept it on for Money in the Bank and Raw, so we could set it up, and his thing will end just before
I don't think that's true.
Really?
Because of the following reason. They're about to do the brand split.
They are.
They're about to do the brand split, and they could easily have waited another couple of weeks with that news. That wouldn't have leaked out. That wouldn't have been a problem. They easily could have waited for it and then have the top guy appear at the top thing, and then suspend him just after Battleground so he appears at SummerSlam.
Well, yeah.
That would have been the way to do that if that was what you were doing there, but they didn't do that. So I think that they've gone, actually shut him down now because their policy is important to them. And that's a good thing. Kudos to WWE for doing that. Well done.
Yeah, they have a no-tolerance policy on it, don't they?
Yeah, no-tolerance policy on all that stuff that is kind of killed off a lot of wrestlers. So, yeah, good.
But there's a plus side to this, because I might be interested in watching Raw now, because Roman Reigns isn't on it going, I'm the guy.
Well, yeah, but SmackDown and Raw, like, they're separating off, so you never know.
Not yet,
might not
though.
be on it.
Either way.
I'm just hoping that Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins go to the same place, because then I'll just watch that one. That's my plan.
And apparently, Mr. Money, ching with the.
What was that? Is that Donald Trump's theme song?
No, that's Shane McMahon. Donald Trump's theme song is the one they actually use for Money in the Bank.
Well, the money, yeah, because that's the theme song to The Apprentice in America.
So Shane McMahon's actually running both apparently.
Interesting.
They just have different general managers.
Okay.
Anyway.
Interesting.
Roman Reigns, yay.
Yeah,
Fuck
that was
you,
silly
Roman
news.
Reigns.
Well, there was E3 and stuff, but I feel like I've talked about that enough on podcasts.
We did live stream all of them, and you went on the fucking co-optional podcast and talked about it for about 4 hours.
Co-optional Podcats? I don't think it's called that.
You should get them to change that. It's a better title.
Yeah. Our message TV now.
You know, we should legally try and get the word podcast changed to Podcats.
No.
Wait, how'd you do that?
You just go back in time.
Contact the dictionary.
Go back in time and make Apple call it what was it? I know, you'd have to change the cat bit, but yeah, instead of casting, you'd cats it across the internet.
You have to go back and find where the word cast comes from.
You know, there's a whole episode of South Park where they're trying to get a definition of a word changed. They contact the masters of the dictionary.
Interesting.
They're trying to get the word fag changed.
Interesting. It's a word to change, that one, if you're going to change any word.
Because they were using it and it was like, you're being sexist. And like, no, we're just being it. It's like, you're a terrible person. It's nothing to do with being gay.
Oh, right. I read that as the cigarette one, but alright.
Yeah, well, it's American, aren't they?
Well, that's why I really enjoyed it. That was my favourite pre-E3 thing, was the Watch Dog trailer.
Oh, God. No. That was the worst thing. While we've got the time machine out, by the way, can we go and change the name of Fanny Pack for Americans? Because that's hilarious. Americans and your fanny packs.
Fanny means vagina.
It does.
But in America, it means bum.
Oh, the confusion that must cause in dark rooms after a few drinks.
Yes. Americans should never visit here. You'll be confused.
I think it's worth talking about a few post E3 things. Because there was some information that came out after E3 regarding some things.
Yes. There was.
Fallout 4 VR.
Yes, which made me immediately go out and buy a Vive, so you finally got your wish.
The control scheme for that is teleportation.
Mm-hmm.
So that was...
But how's VATS going to fit into it?
There's a lot of interesting things there, but, it being teleportation makes sense, and that's good, but it probably still won't work very well. There was the news of... I forgot completely.
Good. Hotline Miami 2 got its level editor.
Who cares about Hotline Miami 2?
Well,
that's been out for a very long time, hasn't it?
It has.
7 months, I'd say.
I mean, that's... Really? Only 7? More than that.
Yeah, it feels like it's been out longer than that.
Oh yeah, I thought it's been out at least a couple of years.
My favourite quote actually came from Microsoft. Microsoft, who just so you all get into like the appropriate fever pitch and want to go out and reserve your new Xboxes. The official comment on the Xbox One S in terms of how much it will improve the performance of your games is it will have no impact on games at all. Literally no impact. It's nothing. It's literally nothing. So that's Microsoft confirming the Xbox One S is nothing, literally nothing there. So, don't like strain your fingers going to reserve that thing. Meanwhile, the Scorpio gets absolutely no exclusives whatsoever.
In fairness, the Xbox One S is probably a pretty good deal if you want a next-gen console. If you don't have one.
It feels strange. It feels like it's like gone the opposite. The pendulum has swung away from because I know we've talked before about the bollocks of the 3DS and the 2DS and all the different iterations and games that can and can't be played on each. The Xbox One seems to have gone the other way, which is there's basically, if you've already got an Xbox One, I see no sensible reason whatsoever you'd bother getting the Xbox One S or the Scorpio.
Yeah.
By the sounds of it. The only change is 4K, and 4K really confused me because how many people have 4K ready televisions?
Dan does, Pat. He keeps telling.
Well, yes, but Dan also lives in a mansion with a Sum room and a Dalek wing.
He does.
Dan is part of the 0.1%. He is one of the hyper-rich on his yacht.
27-bedroom apartment is not a mansion.
Mm-hmm. But I think most people probably don't have a 4K TV ready.
I like to point out that 4K TV was cheaper than most of the regular TVs.
Well, no, this is the interesting thing about 4K now because, I bought a TV the week and the 4K TVs were about the same price as the 1080p ones.
Yeah.
Because, inherently the cost of a panel isn't necessarily the density of the pixels, it's more about the size of the panel because the bigger the panel, the more issue of errors and, then, throwing away a small phone panel isn't that bad, but throwing away a fucking 50-inch panel is. So 4K is already cheap, and I didn't buy a 4K TV because there's nothing I care about running in 4K. But the Xbox, the Scorpio is interesting because unlike the 3DS, the new 3DS, it's not being made to make games have better graphics. It's literally just being made to run this exact same game in 4K, just a higher resolution, and that's it.
It strikes me as a high entry fee for just that.
Oh yeah.
Or you could just go and get a PC.
Well, no, this is the thing. Like 4K gaming is so pointless because it's the difference between running a game in 4K is so power hungry, and you could use all of that power to make the game look fucking amazing when it's 60.
Yeah. I would prioritize frame rate. And in terms of the TV I buy, I've got a TV that's got really good fidelity and really dark blacks and a really high refresh rate. And I would rather prioritise that when I'm buying my TV than a 4K TV, because I think the end result looks better.
Yep.
I think the thing with as well, it is just the quality of the display. And 4K is probably better. It's a lot better than 1080 on large, 50-inch plus.
Yeah.
At that size, it's better. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's a very minute difference, really. You'll notice nicer shadows and a better frame rate more than you will the fucking higher res. Trust me.
It just feels like a really, really odd thing to buy an entirely new, or rather, to release 2 entirely new consoles for.
It's almost like it's a gimmick, John.
Yeah, but like we've never seen an entire console released purely for a gimmick before.
The Wii U.
Okay, the Wii U. Okay, kind of the Wii U.
Kind of the Xbox One original with the fucking shipping with Kinect. That was a
Yeah.
We've seen this a fair few times, in fairness.
This feels even more minor than the Wii U, to be honest. Just 4K resolution.
Yeah.
Well, this feels very, very minor.
Well, it is. It's for people who want it.
Good old shadows.
And the thing is, though, as well, I think the Xbox One S is just better for that anyway, because that supports 4K movies and Blu-rays, which are the only thing I'd ever want to look at in 4K.
I've never bought a Blu-ray in my life, and I never will. Because if I wanted to just sacrifice an extra £4, I'd just throw it off a bridge on the way home from buying the DVD.
Well, I agree completely, but...
I hate both of you for that so much. Blu-ray is a jillion times clearer and better. That's like, I'll just have VHS. Just VHS of the Lego Movie.
Yeah, then my collection of Disney VHS tapes, I'd still be able to watch them. But no!
Look... As someone who buys movies, HD movies on iTunes, I mean, the quality, between a Blu-ray, like I got Inception on both and I compared them and I couldn't really tell the difference. So, it doesn't make that much of a difference. You can't tell the difference
between 480 and 1080.
Well, no, it's a HD download, Daniel. They exist now.
Not on the internet.
You can actually watch videos in HD on the internet.
You see, I've never liked the argument of, well, the human eye can detect the difference between these two things, therefore one is a big step up from the other. The simple fact is, if you watch either of them independently, your eyes and brain will perfectly settle into, yes, this looks nice, this looks pretty, I'm having a good time and I'm immersed in this, one or the other. People are perfectly happy watching things at 25 frames a second or 30 frames a second and just accept it. Sure, they would be able to see the difference if you put it side by side versus 60 frames a second, but people are perfectly content watching a film or a video in both, without it being a big problem. One is still a step up from the other, but the former is still fine.
But people were content just when they stabbed a wildebeest in the face to just eat it before they cooked it. People used to be content with, Spider-Man 1 until Spider-Man 2 came along.
I'm not really sure what we're arguing about here.
Yeah, but then Spider-Man 3 came out, and that kind of ruins the analogy.
That's true.
Please, what are we arguing about? Oh, God.
Well, we're arguing about what Death Stranding is actually about. If you've been following this conversation.
Well, hey, look, fucking actually buying a HD download is fine.
Yeah, I've never bought download. I like things.
Well, the thing is, I hate physical shit because I just lose it, and I like having everything digitally and in the cloud and locally downloaded as well because you don't rely on the cloud. But it just means that I could have all of my hardware die and I'd still have all my data.
I'm scared of the cloud to this day.
Right.
I don't like the cloud.
Why?
Because as far as I can tell, it basically just produces nudes of you. And if you store things in the cloud, then sooner or later nudes of you just emerge on the internet.
Yep.
That is true.
Yep.
And that's scary. Like, 1 minute you're storing your Steam games, and then next, all of a sudden on Entertainment Weekly, there's nudes of you everywhere. And then they're all on Gawker, and you have to sue Gawker, and... Well, then you end up with $100 million. Yeah, actually, that sounds fine.
Yeah, it sounds like a net profit, really, doesn't it?
Yeah, actually.
No, but that's it. Like, a 4K Blu-ray versus a 1080p Blu-ray, you will notice the difference, I think, and there's no real trade-off there like you'd get in a game, because when you get 4K in a game, you are trading off graphical fidelity and frame rate.
Yeah,
you're not with the Blu-ray. You're just getting a better picture. There's no trade-off. That's fine, and the Xbox One S does that. Just get if you want to buy an Xbox One, just get the Xbox One S. Fuck the Scorpio. Fuck the current one. It's the cheap thing. And why? I mean, if you might as well get
Yeah, but now it's all with Windows. Yeah, just get a PC.
Yeah. Although in fairness, though, the Xbox One S is significantly cheaper than a PC.
That was a big thing they said, that Microsoft said that they're not too keen on how the Windows Store is doing, and they're considering bringing stuff to other platforms.
They are.
PC.
So whether that means like Ubisoft, you can buy it on Steam, but you'll still have to log into the Windows Store bullshit eventually to claim it or whatever.
No, they'll definitely do that.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'd still like to buy it on Steam.
Yeah, I like to buy everything on Steam.
Just because.
What happens when Steam shuts down and they shut down Steam servers?
You lose access to everything after 30 days.
They said, apparently Steam have stated that if they ever have to close down, they'll put out something that lets everything work.
Can I say something? That has never been said by Steam. That's an internet bullshit thing.
Well, that's why I say apparently.
Yeah, that's not true. It was just.
Can we just say whatever we want if we say apparently?
Yeah.
Yes.
I didn't know you. Oh, that's how the Leave and Remain lot have been getting away with it.
That's how the Daily Mail operates.
Apparently, the Queen supports Brexit.
Allegedly, supposedly, it's speculated.
Well, yeah, but that's the thing. Like, it's the thing is though, it's one of those things which, based on it's probably not going to shut down for a long time.
Yeah. It makes them infinite money for doing bugger all. It's a win for them.
Yeah.
But the thing is that genuinely Steam is, if it shuts down, then that's it. You lose all your games.
Well, no, that's it. I think that's the argument against digital stuff. Like, you know, I buy my stuff.
No, because you can get DRM-free stuff on the stuff like Good Old Games.
Well,
yeah, I buy directly from indies whenever I can.
Yep.
But this is it. Like, I will always use Steam just because otherwise I will lose things. Like, having everything in one place that's always there. Because if I buy something off an indie website and I download it, I'll forget about it at some point.
Well, you see, with Good Old Games, they're actually offering the ability to transfer your games over, aren't they? From Steam to Good Old Games.
Like 5 games.
Yeah, but it didn't work for me either. But it's just like, you don't have any of these games that I clearly have.
Yeah,
but
it didn't work, so.
It's interesting steps. You can always add stuff to Steam. You can just open up Steam and then add stuff to it.
Oh, yeah, I do that. But,
oh my god,
just for the purposes of updates and downloads, I prefer to have it in Steam just for it to be automatic, I guess.
Yep.
Plus, the downside with DRM is, like, if it was DRM and therefore you had to have the files, you then would have to have everything installed or have the installation files on your PC for everything.
Hello?
Which would eventually start stacking up when you have hundreds and hundreds of games.
I have 1,000... Hang on. I have 1,079 games. Yeah. All of them are installed.
Bloody hell.
And I have 240...
Why do you do that? Do you just hate your hard drive?
How much space does that fill up? That must be terabytes and terabytes.
Yeah, that would be terabytes.
5.2 terabytes.
Matt, that is a dumb thing to do.
That's a really stupid thing to do.
Look, I have a 6 terabyte drive dedicated to it.
I've got a 2 terabyte drive.
Well, then you can only add another 20% onto what you've got. Then what are you going to do?
Yeah. Well, I've got 300 gigs free.
Yeah, and games are getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and 300 gigs is going to get filled up by a few AAA releases very quickly this year. You're going to hit that limit before the end of this year.
I'm sure. Well, this is my plan though. When I get close to limit, I'm just going to start deleting some stuff. Like, for example, the biggest game on Steam I have is Call of Duty Black Ops 3, and a whopping, like, fucking, how big? It's like 70 gigs or something.
And ridiculous. How many minutes have you put into that?
63. Awful game. That'll be going first.
I'd like to point out that the Batman vs Superman Ultimate Edition 4K Blu-ray is 100 gigabytes. It's AAA format, so it's 100 gigabytes. So films are getting up to about 100 gigabytes now.
Wow,
I only ever have like the games I'm playing installed. Yeah.
Well, no, I do that as well, but like at least the original purpose of me getting this machine is I didn't want to. I think I had shit internet as well, so I didn't want to have to go. Oh, I'd like to play that game, but I'm going to have to wait like a day and a half to download the fucking thing.
I just like to be prepared, Matt. I like to be prepared.
How does that make you prepared?
Just basically say if I want to play a thing tomorrow, I'll install
Yeah, but I'm bad at that.
Yeah, but now you've got really good internet, so what's your fucking excuse?
Well, the thing is, now I have really good internet, so that's a bit of a null.
Yeah, now you're an internet god.
Filling up a 6 terabyte drive pretty much writes off a 6 terabyte drive. That drive is not going to live very long at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then when it dies, what happens to all the data on it, Matt?
Well, none of my saves are there. It's literally just game files, install files.
But then you'd have to install. Oh no,
Johnny's not listening to this.
Look, I like. Okay,
let's talk about someone slightly more stupid than Matt.
No, I'd like to have everything I buy digitally
Where do we find
locally
this person?
downloaded.
Do we have to go on a quest?
No, we don't have to go to a quest. We have to talk about Nintendo.
Oh, I don't like doing that. I generally pretend they don't exist.
You see, the...
Nintendo... That's not the...
Well, that's Sega. You just did the Sega song, but with Nintendo.
I did just do the Sega song with Nintendo.
The Nintendo is just... Ding.
Mario, gotta go fast.
Yep! Woo! That's
Nintendo. Oh, do you fucking remember the original Xbox startup sound? It was this weird fucking, like, spaceship thing.
I've literally no idea what the original Xbox sound is.
Can't remember. I did like how it was revealed years later that the GameCube startup sound was an incredibly slowed down version of the original NES's. And if you sped it up like 16 times, it was the NES startup music, and that's what the weird little chirpy noises in the background of the GameCube were. It was incredibly slowed down.
Why were all the consoles from that generation have like? Why were they always really creepy with their startup sounds and the general like?
Well, no offense, the PS4 still has slightly weird, echoing, terrifying noises.
My PS4 boots up with the PS1 sound effects, all like.
Oh, can you set that?
Yeah, there's like a theme.
I didn't know you could set that. I don't bother turning on the PS4 much because turning on the PS4 is an exercise. I guess I'll turn on the PS4 and play something. Oh, you need to update your system files. Of course you. Fuck. Didn't you do that 2 weeks ago? Why does my PS4 need to update itself more often than my PC does by a significant margin? What the hell are Sony doing?
They're making sure that you don't pirate shit.
But they really do make that. They upload and make changes to that thing a lot, and it's so annoying because even with a really quite good internet, and I've got like my up's not fantastic, but I've got a pretty good down internet. And
sorry, my up's not very good. Oh, sorry, that's just.
Oh yeah, I'm speaking tech here. I'm making. Look, my upload speed isn't very good. My download speed is actually pretty solid.
Okay, no, John, no network engineer says my up or your up.
Says the man who did not believe in the power of the G's. All right.
Oh my god. How is Ubisoft?
Okay, I may have been slightly wrong on that one. I may have been modestly wrong. I'm willing to call it a tie, given they actually said there was 2 pronunciations on stage at E3.
Yeah. I've got a question. What was the? Oh, jeez, I just realized something. That the best sounds, like boot up sounds for things. The people who have the best sounds make the best things. Because we can't recall the Xbox one, but I think we can recall pretty much all of the PlayStation and Nintendo ones.
Why can't you record the Xbox One? The Xbox.
I have no idea what the Xbox sounds like when you turn it on.
Well, the Xbox, I can recall the original Xbox one. The 360's one, it changed about 3 times. So I can't.
Yeah, it was the
remember.
Like, because PlayStation 3 just had like an orchestra thing. PS4, I literally have no idea what it does at all. No. The PS2 is amazing. Everyone loves the PS2.
Oh, the original Game Boys.
It would just
it made the experience much of a, you're fucking turning on a power plant. Ooh, you're gonna be in space soon. Ooh.
I think the PS1's the best one with that whole like.
Well, yeah, they were a lot more sort of like, you're entering the technical future, and now it's just whatever.
Yeah.
Interestingly, the N64 didn't really have one. The N64 just had the little rotating end that was silent and went into the game.
That was it.
Yeah.
That's kind of... Valve's got a good one, didn't they? What's that? The first time that dude turned around and scared the shit
I shot myself. Like, it always freaked me out anyway, just it existing. It just always freaked me out. And I just one day, like, I opened Portal 2, and it just, what the fuck? It's never done that before. Fuck you. I don't want to be jump scared by the fucking boot screen. That's just cruel.
That's wonderful. Yeah, and then, like, you've got, like, Windows 98. Everyone knows Windows 98. Windows XP. That started to change things up. Yeah.
Oh,
What was Windows Vista's boot up?
I'm trying to remember.
I mean, the nice thing about the Mac boot up sound is they've never changed it.
What's the Mac boot up sound?
Bong.
Oh yeah.
It's a really very distinct bong, and it's really annoying because on the computer I've got, right, I have everything going into audio interface and all that, but when you turn it on, the bong still comes through the speakers, and it comes through at full fucking volume. So it's like 4 a.m. and I turn my computer on, just quietly, not disturbing neighbors. Bong! Bong! Oh my god. It doesn't sound like that. It doesn't sound like a screaming man.
Wow.
I don't know what that sound is. So in my head, it's just an old, slightly disorientated man that's broken into my bedroom at night. It's just grabbed me. It's like, bong! Help me!
Yep. You know what? You're pretty close. Pretty close.
Oh god, fuck it.
Right, hang on. I was talking about a very dumb person who worked for Nintendo. Should we talk about a very dumb person?
Which dumb person?
The producer of the new, Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
Which looks like a piece of shit and not my game at all. I know, it's not my thing.
I don't think it looks shit. I think it looks...
Oh, it looks shit. It looks shit.
No, let me finish. It does look shit, but not because it looks shit. It looks shit because there's multiple different aesthetics that shouldn't be brought together, so there's no consistency to it.
Yeah.
Okay,
some of it looks really cel-shaded and some of it looks really realistic, and it just looks wrong when they're next to each other.
It's supposed to look pastel-y, but it looks a bit...
It looks like they've just whacked the contrast up to high, so everything's sort of white.
The horses and the planes are cel-shaded, the water's hyper-realistic, and the buildings are halfway in between, and it looks dreadful when they're next to each other. Like, when the horse was running through the water was really nice and realistic, the horse was cel-shaded, and then the splashes coming off the water with this kind of stylized white thing, and it looked really shit. Individually, if they just stuck to one, it would look fine. Because Wind Waker still looks spectacular today.
Yes,
but it looks so good on the fucking Wii U.
But like shit, this already looks awful because it just doesn't match. And it's like, I don't care. Okay. A game can look scruffy, but as long as it's aesthetically consistent and has a really good aesthetic to it, it can still look really good. But Breath of the Wild already doesn't, and I just don't like it.
I think it'll age better than Twilight Princess, which...
Oh, Twilight Princess has aged awfully.
Even the remastered version, it kind of put it up and went, does it always look this bad? Like, it has this very specific aesthetic, and that's what it's going for, but it looks like... It looks old as fuck.
Well, that's because you spent large parts of Twilight Princess walking around these really, really dull, blackish, orangish areas collecting tears, and which was the most boring thing in the world, but the game made you do it over and over and over.
Sure did. I like Zelda games.
I'm currently playing a Zelda game and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. But
Which one?
I'm playing Oracle of Ages because I never played Oracle Ages or Oracle Seasons because I thought they were like Game Boy Advance things. And I was like, maybe we'll get to them one day. But they're actually like my favorite one, which was Link's Awakening, and they look like it. I'm like, let's do this thing. But I'm playing through it and I'm like, all right, Boomerang and this and this and this. And so I mean, I like the 2D ones. The 3D ones I've never liked. Really, like I get through. Like the closest they've got to being fun was Majora's Mask, the one with the big moon, because it was terrifying.
Majora's Mask, yeah. Majora's Mask was good. Majora's Mask is a really good story.
I just don't think it's a good game. Like the actual gameplay is very dull.
Well, Wind Waker was very good, I think. Wind Waker was excellent. I really liked Twilight Princess. I couldn't get into Skyward Sword though. That lost me a bit, even though, really, I mean, you fly around in it to Sky Islands. It's pretty cool, but I couldn't get into it. Don't know why.
And for once, there was kind of a vague implication Zelda was actually into Link, which never normally really shows up, which was nice.
Do you know what Zelda game I really want to play? The fucking Sega CD ones with the fucking awful, like, terrible cartoon cutscenes.
Can't be that hard to get hold of them these days, surely.
Why? Yeah, but I have to get one, wouldn't I? Why would I buy a Sega CD? A Sega CD is the American.
I like the Sega CD.
Surely it must be Sega, given literally those consoles boot up with Sega, so we kind of know how that has to be pronounced.
I like the Sega Saturn. That was a good console.
What? Mega Drive. Mega Drive forever.
Oh yeah, Mega Drive was superior, but I like the Sega
Dreamcast was
Saturn.
great as well.
No,
I mean, fuck you.
No. Good old Dreamcast.
Yeah. Anyway, the stupid thing.
Yeah, let's get... We're going to get to the stupid thing sooner or later.
So, you know, there was a big kerfuffle about is Link going to be female or not?
Oh, that.
There was a whole big thing.
Why did that keep rumbling on afterwards when we saw him taking his top off and wandering around shirtless? So obviously
maybe
he wasn't,
Nintendo are super into titties now.
Philips CDI, not Sega CD. I was wrong, sorry.
Oh, you moron. But alright, so when they were trying to explain it away why they'd actually kept Link male...
Oh, yes, this,
When they kept Link male, the actual quote... And I fucking love this so much because
I saw this on Jimquisition. This is amazing.
I haven't caught up with Jim for so long.
Jimquisition's done a.
I hope he does this.
Has visited this
because this is
it's worth watching that one.
This is the explanation they gave as to why there cannot be a female Link. You know, there's the idea of the Triforce in the Zelda games we make. The Triforce is made up of Princess Zelda, Ganon, and Link. Princess Zelda is obviously female. If we made Link a female, we thought that would mess with the balance of the Triforce.
Oh,
that's why we decided not to do it.
Because, of course, throughout the Zelda franchise, the Triforce has had clearly defined and well-understood rules for exactly how it works. Obviously.
Yeah.
Like, the thing is, I think Link, like, I think the whole female Link thing, I think it's fine to keep Link male, because he's a male character.
Yeah.
Mario is a male character, you know, they all...
You see, I think Link is... If you're going to change any character that's super popular and change them up, Link's so easy to do, because Link is literally...
gender neutral.
Literally... completely gender neutral, and there's never been called Link in any of the games I play. I can't remember what I've called him now. He's something like Bastard McGee or something.
think it's fine. It's fine for Link to actually be female because, of course, unlike Mario, who's the same Mario forever, Link is constantly being, and it is the story that Link is being constantly reborn. It's a new Link every time as the world needs him. So there's no reason why it shouldn't happen to be a girl that happens to be required.
Well, no, that's it. That's what I'm saying. They could easily make it a girl, but it's a perfectly sound explanation for the creator to go, I didn't want to.
Yep.
I mean, he doesn't have to justify his choice. It's not like there's any obligation.
They could have just said, we're Nintendo. Risk-taking makes us very deeply uneasy. Like, we don't do risk-taking. We'll wait for someone else to do something, and then 10 years later, maybe we'll do it. Like adding hunting and crafting into our games. That was popular 10 years ago. We've just added that. So maybe we'll catch up with gender equality in a couple of decades.
There was another bit of that quote as well, though, when they were talking about it. When they said... we thought about it and we decided if we were going to have a female protagonist, it's simpler to have Princess Zelda as the main character. And if we have Princess Zelda as the main character who fights, then what is Link going to do? Like, anything else? Like, just...
Plus also, what has Zelda been doing in games so far? Because Zelda basically just sits around eating all the pies. Yeah. So why couldn't Link just do that?
Hyrule Warriors, Zelda's a fucking badass.
In Wind Waker, you literally take Zelda and take her under the sea and make her stand in a cave, and then you just say, stay there for the next few days while I go and have fun adventures. And she does.
I'm currently playing through... it's Mario RPG, and it's the dreamy one. Can't remember what the fucking name is on the 3DS. Because I was like, people say that these are really good, and it's awful. Because I am, like, literally trying to hide... Princess, not Zelda, what's her face? Princess Face
Peach
McGee. That's the one. Princess Peach. The whole game is she's kidnapped, gotta go save her. Kidnapped, gotta go save her. And I just feel that this is like the thing with all of Nintendo's characters. And maybe people wanted a female Link because they actually wanted to have a female character that Nintendo actually don't ruin or just don't make the token female. Because they had a good one for a while in Samus, and they royally fucked her up. So bad. So bad. So bad. Other end is spectacularly awful.
This is it. A female Link could work great, but at the same time, they're under no obligation to make. It's not. I mean, if they don't want to make Link female,
they could just say, "Fuck it." Don't go. Ooh, the thing that we wrote won't make sense anymore.
Yeah,
because you wrote the thing. Just write another. This is what I really. This was a great interview with Stephen Moffat. When they say, what happens when you get to the regeneration limit? What would Doctor Who end? He went, no, I'll just write a way around it. Like, that's how fiction works. You go, I want this thing to go the way I want.
I think Moffat goes too far with that sort of thing. Moffat doesn't bother respecting even continuity he's set up. Russell T Davies had much more respect for continuity. And I think it does bother me that Moffat doesn't. Occasionally just says, you really can feel Moffat just saying, fuck it, I want to do this, so we're doing this.
Yeah, but you know what? With Doctor Who, I think that's the best way of tackling it.
But it means things don't have weight. If there's no consistency...
Doctor Who's never had weight. Doctor Who has the immediate...
There was weight. The Return of the Master had weight.
Oh god, they're all talking about Doctor Who again.
The Return of the Master did have weight to it. You
John
can't
Sim's first Master, when he came back the first time. Yeah, that absolutely had weight. And now, it has no weight whatsoever, because the Master's missing and is absolutely fine. We all know they were going to be absolutely fine. The actual weight there was about Martha in the story and how it was affecting Martha. And that's what they built on. So instead of... Because in Doctor Who, the world's always going to be saved. The Doctor's always going to be the hero. It's how it affects the companions.
Not always the companions. It's also the Daleks. In Rusty's era, the Daleks mattered because there were so few of them and you understood where they were and how many were left.
Okay, you can't say Rusty's era considering it was the first series and by the end of them there was a fucking army that got vaporized. But you knew they were okay. Because they were absolutely just everywhere still.
But there was always just a few of them hanging on to existence. It was always just those last few that were slipping through things. And you could follow who they were and where they were and what they were doing. But now, fuck it, Daleks just come out of the arse wherever it matters.
With, like, even in Tennant's later ones with, like, Stolen Earth and stuff, Daleks everywhere. Daleks up the arse. Daleks, Davros and Daleks.
But then, like, at some point, the Power Rangers Daleks pissed off, and now Daleks are just wherever the fuck they need to be. And no one seems to care.
I love the Paradigm
There's Daleks just everywhere.
They had such a cool story set. So when I went to the Doctor Who Experience, where you actually go and have a walk-on ride, one of the actual bits was that a screen would come up in, like, you're in a Dalek base, And like the Paradigm Daleks were there, and the Russell T Davies era Daleks would turn up, and they were actually fighting because the other ones didn't want to give in. There was a Dalek civil war happening, and Moffat had set up a Dalek civil war storyline, and never wrote anything else for it because those Daleks were so unpopular on their design. But they had a Dalek civil war story. It's a brilliant story, and if I ever
like the
Doctor
Power
Who,
Rangers Daleks. I thought they were quite good.
I like them as well. I like that their heads are the wrong size because they got the wrong measurements on their top half to their bottom half. One was metric, one was imperial. That's why they look so weird.
Bloody EU.
But yeah, so that's Legend of Zelda being a piece of shit.
Oh, we're on Doctor Who now?
No, it was pissing me off. Let's talk about Doctor Who more.
Yeah, we're done. I'm really glad about Sea of Thieves. I want to gush about Sea of Thieves because someone at Microsoft remembered that one. It's the one made by Rare. Someone at Microsoft has remembered that they own Rare and that Rare's what?
Describe the game to me because they're all the
I
same.
thought that was an Uncharted game.
No, Pirates game. Kind of cartoony. You
and
the
one
other
with the
people.
fucking twats with face cam in the demo.
Oh, that thing. Wow, that trailer really put me off that fucking game. It looked fun, but then I was like, you guys.
Yeah, but if you're not a twat, and I know you're a twat, Matt, but some other people that me and Dan might know might not be twats. Like if therefore we all played it together, it might be more fun because there'd be less twats involved.
No, John, sorry, I have to interrupt you there. That face cam is actually permanently on the screen with the random quips happening. It's actually a feature of the game.
That's just an AI. That's just a quip AI.
Oh, you know what? The Division would have been so much better if it actually had that really seriously, I'm having fun here AI that was like, the fucking people who were playing it in the fucking demo. You know what? If fucking the Division had that built in, that'd be a fucking great game. I mean,
I'm just excited because someone at Microsoft remembered that they owned Rare and that Rare actually used to produce good games and possibly, if given some creative freedom, might create some good games again.
Yeah.
Rather than just making them make shitty Kinect sports titles.
This reminds me regarding a studio that a big AAA publisher owns that was going to give them creative freedom. Criterion's Extreme Sports game was cancelled.
No!
I wasn't really following that one. Why was that one looking so promising that that's upset people?
Because Criterion were making a car game away from EA's shitty Need for Speed series.
Well, not even just car game.
Need
it was
for
just
Speed
Extreme
news.
Sports. The idea of jumping out of a car into a helicopter. Directly.
We had literally no footage or anything about it.
I mean, they're really early prototype stuff.
Yeah, from E3, 2004 or something.
But
this sounds like an optimistic Kickstarter pitch to me.
Yeah,
I mean, it was last year.
It was basically what happened was EA took Criterion over and went, "Hey, you make that awesome Burnout series. Well, we're going to make you make the shitty Need for Speed series into Burnout."
Perfect.
Yeah, it didn't actually work that well. It was alright. I mean, I can't remember what the fucking game was, but one of the Need for Speeds that came out was quite a lot like Burnout Paradise.
Oh, well, 3 of them were quite like fucking Burnout.
Yeah, but they were never as good as Burnout. So then they went, alright, Criterion, make your own thing. And when Criterion make their own thing, it tends to be quite good. So everybody was... I was really excited. I'm a huge Burnout fan. I was very excited for something new from the people who made Burnout, and it's just been canned.
And then they were like, oh, no, they're going to work on the Star Wars game.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Boy.
Get a real job. Work on Star Wars. Milk that teat. Milk that lightsabery teat.
I just looked up the Need for Speed games. There was a Need for Speed game called Need for Speed No Limits for mobile full microtransactions, which are the definition of limits. It's like fucking Disney Infinity, play without limits. What a stupid tagline.
Okay, call our game that.
Also, it was developed by Fire Monkey Studios, which are the people who make Real Racing, so it was clearly just Real Racing with a Need for Speed badge, similar to how one of them was Burnout with a Need for Speed badge.
Yep.
Which isn't what people want from Need for Speed.
No.
If I want to play Burnout, I'll play fucking Burnout. If I want to play Real Racing, I'll play fucking Real Racing.
Did you see that itch.io thing where you the circles, the other circles? That added microtransactions.
Agrario.
That one, yeah. That
Itch.io.
Agricultural.
Yeah,
farming simulator.
That added microtransactions.
That has
Bro, it got fucking huge on YouTube. They fucking
yeah.
I imagine when the person made it, it was just like a little free experiment thing, but then it just got really fucking big.
Well, I've read this is actually how that model works, and he literally just makes free games, waits for them to get popular, sells them, and then starts building the next one. That's what he does.
I mean, it probably works for him.
Probably works very well for him, yeah. And he doesn't actually ever monetize them; he just sells them to people who do.
Well, which is
kind of evil, but technically, the people who who just sit around creating new types of chemical weapons aren't actually gassing anyone themselves, but maybe they share some responsibility.
I mean, the game looks a bit weird because on one hand you're sat there going, yeah, it's a bit scummy, but on the other hand, I mean, how the fuck else are you going to monetize it? You know, I mean, the ads are just worth fucking nothing anymore.
There are some really, like, I came across a really interesting one recently. There's a free game called Istrelid, which I'm actually going to make a video of at some point. But it's on Steam and it's a browser game. It's free, there's no microtransactions, and there's no ads. The only way it makes money is there's a small DLC pack that's purely customization and aesthetic stuff. That's like £5. But the entire core game and the entire campaign, all of the gameplay stuff, is free, with no wait time, is no ads, and no anything. And it's a really lovely system. But yeah, it's kind of, everything looks a bit bland. So if you want any like colors or writing or anything, if you want basically any personalization, then that's the paid stuff. But the entire game is available free, which is really lovely.
You see, about it, I think microtransactions being cosmetic are fine. Like in Rainbow Six, I think Rainbow Six Siege does microtransactions very well.
They're quite pricey, minds.
They are quite pricey, but even so, it's weapon skins.
The thing is, like, it's a game where no one's ever going to see your weapon skins, because people die so quickly in very rapid bursts of fire that your enemy's never going to see them, and your teammates aren't really going to see them either. I just don't see the point.
No, there is no point. That's what's good about them.
Like in a game where like the combat is a bit slower and a bit more grindy and tanky, and where you'll actually get up close to your enemies, like Overwatch, I can see the point because people will actually be able to see the aesthetic things you're applying. But Rainbow Six Siege, you basically don't see your enemy. If you don't see them because you die, because they kill you. Or at least that's my experience, but then I'm shit at Rainbow Six Siege.
And the thing is, for me, right, I bought some. I got the game for free with my like graphics card. And I really like the game, and I'm very happy to support it. I'm very happy to support that. I gave them money for a game I liked after not paying for it, and also, fuck off, Dan. You spent £240.
Yeah, I spent £240 fucking pounds on that piece of fucking shit GT Online, and they've released a new card I can't fucking afford.
Yeah, wanker.
What do you mean you can't afford?
I can't afford it in the game. It's too much. I don't have enough money. I'd have to spend more money.
Oh, sorry. Oh, I thought you said a new card. I thought you meant like they released a new one of the new cards, like a Plateosaurus card or something. It's like fucking hell. The financials must be bad over at Nerd³ Limited if Dan literally can't afford the next step up of microtransaction.
Like I bought about sort of like
sell some of the sums.
Oh God, yes. Yeah,
sell the sums to fund microtransactions. Don't tell Rebecca.
I bought maybe £25-30 worth of them. And I if I'd have bought the game, I probably wouldn't have done that, but I didn't. And I'm happy to give them money for the game because I really like it. I'm happy to support Ubisoft doing those kind of microtransactions rather than the shit they put on the other games. Because I'd rather them do that and think it works and do that and other things rather than have the other horrible shit ones.
See, I just don't see this as the better way of doing things. Because if GTA Online went, right, we're a multiplayer game, so we need to fund our servers. I totally get that. So, right, let's have DLC and let's make it just a couple of quid. Like, you buy a new car, that'd be £1. Like, where's the issue in that? That's what we did for a while. First there was the game, and then there was the game, and then there was the expansion pack, and then there was the game, and then there was the DLC. And that, like, can we just go back a step to that? Can't we just have, like, oh, there's new offices and stuff, and you can buy a thing, buy the office...
Well, see, the thing is,
£3.99, buy an office.
That feels a bit too much pay to win, though, in that case. Oh
my god, it's the most pay to win fucking game I've ever played in my entire life, GTA.
Well, no, this is the thing, though, right? You say that, but that's kind of similar to what they have now, because it is just you buy the currency back.
No, because it's so much more fucking expensive to buy that fucking
Well, no, that's what
currency.
I was going to say. That's what I was going to say, because it's not like... It's not reasonable, because, the idea on that, like, that new car, I think it's 2.7 million.
Yes, it is. And I have 2.6500.
I mean, you could sell the one you bought in the video.
I could, but no. Because I just don't have fun with that game.
Well, exactly. But it's 2.7 million, you want to upgrade it fully, it's probably going to be, 3.5. Easy. So, 3.5 million, that is a microtransaction. I think that is a £40 microtransaction.
Yep.
So, that car, a virtual car, to buy that in-game with a microtransaction is £40 for a virtual car.
Yep.
That is completely ludicrous.
Yep.
that's the biggest problem, really, isn't it? It's that they're not reasonable.
Yeah, they're not even slightly. I mean, because what happened was mobile gaming became a thing, and everybody massively undercharged for everything because nobody wanted to pay like proper prices for a game that you only play on your phone. So mobile games were really cheap. So to make money elsewhere, they stuck in loads of microtransactions. Microtransactions got popular. They started pushing it up higher and higher and higher and higher, and now they've moved over onto actual games, but they've stayed at that ridiculously high level, which was just people seeing how far they could push it. It's just a miserable thing.
Because it is. I mean, if that car was like £3,
yeah,
like, you know, if a pound bought you $1 million,
yeah. I mean, if they had like if GTA Online released a yearly season pass for like £30 and you just get everything they release, I'd be like, all right, yeah, I'll get that.
I mean, the thing is that people would argue, oh, it would break game balance. The game's already fucking broken, balance-wise.
Oh, massively. There's no fucking balance.
It doesn't matter anymore.
No.
I mean, with all the hackers and with all the fucking people buying microtransactions and with all the people cheat, it doesn't matter anymore.
Yep.
It's not a competitive game, really.
Yeah.
It's mostly co-op and fucking around in free mode. It doesn't matter. Just shut up.
It's a horrific experience. I mean, because seriously, if GTA Online had, you know, a car would come out and it would be a couple of quid, I'd have all of them pretty much. I'd be like, yeah, I'll buy that, yeah, I'll buy that, yeah, I'll buy that. And I would have spent like £60, but I'd have everything. So I'd be getting a better experience, and a lot of more people would be actually buying these things. So everybody would be getting a better experience. But those big giant whales that spend the never-ending amounts of money, who they target, they would just be buying the exact same as everyone else. So you've either got a thing where you're going to make more money, but actually only a really tiny fraction of your fan base are going to be getting the stuff you're making, or you can make a bit less money, but everyone's actually having a better time. And if everyone's having a better time, surely then more people would be hanging around in your game.
Well, that's
but don't we then run into the Incredibles paradox of if everyone's special, no one is, and no one wants to spend money on something that everyone already has, because then it's not a status symbol anymore.
That's a fair issue. And it actually puts me off getting the new stuff in GTA Online as well, because they only ever put like 3 cars out at a time.
Yeah.
And everyone just buys them. I'd rather just use the old stuff. And I mean, yeah, you see, the thing that I quite liked about GTA Online, it was kind of a little RPG.
Yeah.
Right? It's not an RPG, obviously, but it's got some RPG elements in that, you know, you level up your character, you level up your stats, you can customize the clothing and the look. And I think I like the progression. I like it having a progression system in that. And I feel like having a season pass where you just get all the new stuff for free in-game would ruin that a bit.
Well, not if it was top tier stuff. I mean, everything that comes out new is always pushing the top tier. The T20 came up top tier. The thing they released yesterday is now the fastest supercar.
Oh yeah, you mean not have all the DLC be this really?
Yeah, you don't. Why would you want that? Stuff. You have stuff that's interesting and put around the place. Like, here's a new jet, but it's bound. Like when they released the Bezra. The Bezra is amazing. It's much faster. It's much nippier, but it has no weapons. So it's
even the Hydra's balanced.
The Hydra's quite nicely balanced as well. And then you've got stuff like, here's the faster cars, here's the Insurgent that could take 60 billion rockets.
I'd pay £1 for a penny farthing if I could just ride around on a massive penny farthing. I'd totally do that.
Can you do that in Gran Turismo 4?
In a gaudy hat.
Gran Turismo 4 had, I think. It may have been a penny farthing. It might have been just a giant old carriage. It had a really old
I want an actual penny farthing, and I want to be wearing a jaunty hat and be otherwise naked. That is what I would do.
You know what might work well for GTA Online? The idea of having a season pass, but have it for like the mission stuff, like the heists, and make the actual missions and co-op missions in the game a bit more in depth.
Yeah, if they release more heists, that'd be nice.
Yeah, but then have all the sort of cars and stuff, have them still in the game and paid for, but, you know, make you get more currency faster and make it just more reasonable. Not have microtransactions for currency, have the season pass for the actual game modes, and then make everything else free.
Yeah.
And accessible in game. So, like, instead of, you know, that car being 2.7 million, fine, but, you know, you can actually gain 2.7 million in, you know, a heist.
Yep.
I mean, that'd be more reasonable, I think.
Basically, they should really have done this in a way that's better. Because at the moment, it's working for them, but it's not working for the players. Like, I boot up GTA Online, I fancy playing some GTA Online, because GTA 5 is mechanically one of the greatest games ever made. But as soon as you go online, you go, oh, this just isn't fun.
No, I kind of went on before and went, ooh, you know, I was sort of sat around, didn't have anything to do for an hour, and I occasionally sat there, I quite enjoy customizing my cars and having my own character. That's
well, customizing the cars doesn't work because there's the best option for everything. Here's the top one. Here's the top one. Here's the top one. It's always
well, there is, but there's very purposeful thing in that the cars I have in GTA Online aren't those kind of cars. They're the mid-end cars that have a lot of different, mainly cosmetic things.
Yeah, but I love it if the upgrades were sort of, do you want to prioritize acceleration or speed or handling, and not just have best.
Oh yeah, no, those ones are shit. But cosmetically, that's kind of what I'm in it for.
I mean, like, here's how to fix and make GTA Online 1,000 times more fun and 1,000 times more playable. Rockstar, if you're listening, and I know you're not, but this is how you fix it: get rid of the fucking other player blips on the fucking minimap. That is literally all you have to do. That is everything you have to do to make that game 1,000 times more fun. Because as soon as you get rid of other player blips on the minimap, apart from, of course, if they shoot and you can hear them, like you do in death matches, so they're visible until they shot or that you see them, that puts them on your minimap. But just get rid of that, because that adds so much more to the game. For instance, you actually have to search for other people around the world. And you'd actually have, when you have an encounter, it would mean something. Because at the moment when you have an encounter, you just try and kill each other as fast as possible.
Or drive past each other and don't pay each other any
yeah.
attention.
But I mean, like, a car chase where the blips will vanish if you lose the person would be so much more exciting. Like, you spin out and crash, the person drives off, you may not see them again. That would be so much more fun. Especially on, like, the leveled servers, because I think they should have two kind of servers. I think they should have the servers as they are now, without the blips. And they should have servers with the blips, but also be basically creative mode, where you could spawn in anything, do anything, have, like, total fuck around mode. Maybe have, like, every 10 minutes the thing changes. Like the challenges they have, but basically, like, everyone's in a jet now, and just sort of... And, like, you could, like, change... If you're, like, the party, like, the leader of the bloody server you're on, you could change things. So it's, like, 10 minutes, everybody's like, you're in a jet now, and everybody just has jet dogfights, where they respawn in a jet for a while.
Things, they already have different lobbies for different aiming modes. If you have auto-aim on, there's an auto-aim lobby and there's a mouse-aim lobby. And they can practically do it. The problem with, like, Rockstar and what they've done with GTA Online is they have done more things to it than they initially intended to, which just meant it's now a fucking mess.
It's bloated.
I mean, you notice this, especially when you're buying clothes. The way clothes are categorized is really noticeable in how it's a mess, because it's clearly not meant for that many clothes.
I think when they started this game up, they weren't expecting anything like what they've got now. And now, because they've got it's so making them so much money with microtransactions, I think they've just gone, as many clothes as possible, as many things as possible. They're just trying to make as many things in their broken, awful economy as possible.
A lot of people in the chat are just saying, can't you just turn off the radar? Well, yeah, you can, but
everyone else still has it.
Yeah, everyone else can still see you. The whole idea is
that nobody sees anyone.
Yeah.
Unless, of course, you start one of your VIP missions off or whatever. You know, you do your things that actually activate you. You go, I could do this thing that gives me advantages, but there's a disadvantage of this thing.
Well, this actually brings up another point that, these new cars that come out. It's, this new expensive car. It's like, it's the fastest one. It's like, yeah, but, and?
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, okay, let's say you bought it for £35 of microtransactions.
Yeah.
What is it? It doesn't do anything. What?
Unless you play, like, a lot of races. I mean, seriously, I don't even see what cars people have these days. Because they get close to you, hold down the aim, move slightly up, pop them in the face.
Well, in races, most of the time it doesn't matter, because usually Slipstream is on, and when you've got Slipstream on, it is irrelevant at that point.
Yeah, auto catch-up and everything. It's all...
Yeah, so... I mean, it's purely a cosmetic thing at this point. And I think that's half the problem as well, because I like things that add gameplay functionality. That's one of the reasons I hate the yachts so much, because they are the most expensive thing, and they do
Hey, they get to add that mode where I get to stand there completely silently for 10 minutes while nothing happens.
That was brilliant. I assume the game was telling the other players on the server to go and queue, they just didn't bother.
Yeah.
Thing is, though...
It's happened, right? It's literally happened. I have like 10 times or so that I've actually tried that. About 8 times, no one's turned up.
The thing is, though, you can do that without a yacht.
Yeah.
There's a VIP mode, which is just protect the VIP, and it's just named differently, and it's just someone else, but it's exactly the same thing. But that's the thing, there's the actual functionality of the yacht is pointless. I mean, the officers add some gameplay. I'm happy that they add some gameplay, because, I'm slightly going, I actually like a yacht because they add functionality.
Yeah.
That's what I care about. but they don't. And I wish, I'm sat there looking at these updates, and every update it's like, oh look, it's another plane to buy. It's another helicopter that's functionally the same as the other ones. Like, oh, it looks different. And you know what I'd like? Give me a fucking go-kart update, so I can fucking do go-kart races. Because that'd be fun. That'd be different.
Yeah.
Like, add actual functional.
No, see, for me, it's about the creative servers and having like. You allocate one person as sort of the person who could be in charge of it or whatever, and you can search when you go for your servers, because I like searching for servers. You can search for all the person who's kind of focusing on this sort of thing, or just start your own server so you can do your own stuff or whatever. However, they want to do
servers.
It. But then you basically go right. It's now everybody's in planes. Or what you don't force everyone to plane. You say, let's start a challenge where if you're in a plane, it's better, like they do now. But instead of actually having to go to call up the Pegasus and then go to do the thing and then get in the plane and take it off, crash once, and then you're at your plane. That's rubbish. What you should have is you just respawn in planes. You should respawn. You should have an option for respawning the last vehicle you want in these servers. But how like someone just goes, right, first person to fly under this bridge wins. And then have fucking 32 planes from around the map just try and bomb their way as quickly as possible to this one bridge and just cause havoc and mayhem there. And then it's like, first person to kill this random pedestrian.
You won't just cause too many player. Yeah, basically.
Sort of. I want it a bit more controlled because I think
more controlled.
The best thing GTA Online added was those random challenges and stuff. It's just nobody does them now because they're all bored of them. And it's because they take so much effort. It's like, hey, do a base jump. Right, well, I've got to call my helicopter, fly up in the air, jump out.
Look,
if I don't win, I've lost $200.
Yeah, and it ends up just being necessary. They need to pay out more for those things because it make people more inclined.
Yeah.
And I think it's
and
like...
they're not often enough as well. I just want to have fun.
Yeah.
That's what I want. I don't want to level up. I don't want to like grind through missions. I just want to do silly buggering in GTA with my friends. And I hate that if I crash my plane after driving halfway across the map to get it, I've got to then call up a person and then wait for the right timer to be up because I've just requested one, and then it just feels so... I get they were going for more of a realistic thing, but literally have a realistic server and have a creative server.
Yeah. And because that's what Just Cause 2 did until we closed the server.
Yeah.
And the idea that, like, the three big popular servers were pretty much ours, which is a big, massive, messy sandbox that was uncontrolled completely.
Yeah.
Which very much like the betas. There was another one, which is what we send people to now, which is a bit more controlled. It's a bit more like what you're talking about. And then there was another one, which is a roleplay server.
Yeah. Where
you spawn without a grappling hook, and you have to level up and do jobs and stuff. Like, San Andreas multiplayer has a huge thing in like RP servers where you actually have to wait in a queue at the bank for your fucking paycheck and shit. And actually go to work.
This sounds like the worst thing.
I don't know. That sounds fun to me. Put GTA 5 and actually have a proper roleplay server. Where you have a little house allocated to you, you've got a car, and you've got a drive. You can go play tennis, but then you can gamble your money on the stock market that they never added, and all these other
there's no way for them to monetize that, really. Though.
Yeah, that's why they didn't add it. People would make money out of nothing.
But that's the thing.
That's what pisses me off. See, that was the stuff that I was really excited about. There were so many things where I was like, hey, that's a really cool idea, and they ripped them out. Like, single-player GTA was supposed to have house buying. There was a big deal in single-player GTA. There was literally, even up to like a few weeks before launch, it was like, yeah, you can totally buy houses. And then they were like, actually, if people buy houses in this, they're not going to want to buy the apartments in online because they've got them here. So we're going to cut that.
Yep.
We're going to have the stock market, and you can gamble on the stock market stuff and make loads of money. And then they went, actually, we won't make any money from that. So we're going to stop that.
This is it. I feel if they would have done what basically every other AAA game does with the multiplayer, where they go, here's the multiplayer.
Yeah.
Do what you want with it. Here's some dedicated servers. I mean, abide by our, basic rule set.
Yeah.
And whatever. Like...
The problem is, GTA Online is very serious, and it's focused on a very serious way of playing the game, yet every single person that plays it is Trevor.
Yeah. Well, it's not even that they're Trevor. I think that's a bad comparison, because Trevor, as a character, doesn't walk through the street and just shoot on sight a person walking towards them. That's not what Trevor does. Trevor is... kind of insane, but he's rational.
Yeah.
He's not that irrational.
He's largely
He did murder that couple in their own home and then just walk away.
Yeah, but if he hadn't done it, I would have done.
No, but that's me. He's mad, but he's not... Like, he has reasons for doing what he's doing.
He's a psychopath when necessary.
The first time we meet him, he drives a bike to a nearby group of bikers and murders every single one of them dead.
And he did it for the drug reasons. There's a reason for it.
His work.
players in GTA will, if you're walking down the road unarmed, they will just shoot you in the head.
Yeah.
Trevor wouldn't do that to a random civilian in the road. That's not Trevor's character. People in GTA Online just... weirdly, they play GTA Online to avoid other players online, which kind of defeats the point, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like, what's the point in playing an online game if a player comes towards you, you kill them?
Yeah. It's just a horrible mess.
I mean, Rockstar have always been terrible at doing online.
No.
I mean, this is...
No, absolutely not. Red Dead Redemption's online is brilliant.
No, they've been terrible at structuring online. Not doing online.
No.
I think, some...
Bullshit. GTA 4's online was brilliant because there was loads of little game modes you could play. And I had a lot of fun with GTA 4 online.
Oh, yeah, it's fun. But it doesn't have that longer-term structure like most other AAA online multiplayers do.
Bollocks to that. Because that's never, ever interesting. It's just popular. It's like crafting in video games. It's never, ever interesting. It's just popular at the moment.
I don't know. It's got a lot of problems. They could
fix. Literally, it's so easy to fix. Turn the blips off of these servers, and then have on these servers. That one takes a little bit more effort to do, but they could absolutely do it with the millions that flow in. I mean, of course, then when it's a creative server, no one's buying anything. You can't make any money off of it. It really pisses me off because GTA 5, as a single player, is an incredible game, and the multiplayer is just a cash grab, and it feels like a cash grab, and it's paced like a shitty mobile phone piece of shit.
Well, it's especially annoying because you can feel the mechanics there and go, ooh, this has been... Like, it feels like a lot of the mechanics were made not with that in mind and for something better in mind, and then they changed it like quite far in development.
Yep.
Last minute. That's why the clothes system feels so messy, where you're going, ooh, you know what, I want to wear a turtleneck, but I can't wear a turtleneck until... I can't put a jacket on a turtleneck until I'm wearing these pants. Oh, but then I can't do that. I have to buy the outfit, and then I have to change the jacket, and then I can wear a turtleneck with the jacket. Oh, but no, the turtleneck's in jumpers, but there's actually another section for jumpers that's also called, like, special jumpers. Yep. And there's another section for, like, hipster jumpers, and... like long coats, like there's like a long coat section, but some long coats are in the long coat section, some long coats are in the fancy coat section. It's just a big mess.
I mean, it's also paced like for the people who buy stuff. It's horrible. Like if you get anything from Pegasus, so once you bought a thing, you have to buy it from Pegasus. So it's another $200 anytime you want something, which isn't bad. But when you get the office and you want it on the roof of your office, $4,000.
Yeah.
Because you've got the money. Because you're the sort of person who's laid out the money, most likely. But they're just going to fuck you over more. I found out that if you are standing on the roof of the Maze Bank and you call up to get any helicopter, the nearest place it will spawn is the hospital in the south part of town. And you actually can jump off of your thing, open your parachute immediately, and glide down there and get it for $200. Saving yourself some fucking time.
And it's a very sad thing. Because I feel like what I think GTA Online would be good for is Saints Row 2 Online.
Oh, yeah.
Like, give me the clothes customization system from Saints Row 2. Give me the car customization system from Saints Row 2. Yeah. Give me nicer graphics and GTA mechanics, and leave me to it.
Yep. And give me the 80s soundtrack as well, because that's nice. Yeah. Although you got Robbie Williams, so I can't argue too much with your soundtrack GTA.
Anyway,
I actually spent my bloody 2.5 million subscriber special to bitch about that game.
I want to point out that wasn't originally planned.
No, that was going to be just a silly video I came up with. I was like, if I spend like a little bit of microtransactions, it'll make it much better. And then it exploded. And I was like,
he was like, I was like, oh yeah, that's a fine idea. And we were going to record it. He was like, oh, we'll do it tomorrow. And then I went to bed. And the next day, he was like, oh my god, I've got an entire idea. I don't know why he went Jeremy Clarkson there.
And I'd spent so much on it. A lot of people got quite annoyed that I'd spent actual money on microtransactions. But the point is, you don't. If I go, microtransactions are bad again, you go, I know. But if I've actually spent the money and you physically see what I actually got out of those microtransactions, then you're like, oh yeah, this game is actually a piece of shit.
Yeah, also, a lot of people saying, oh, Dan supports microtransactions. I mean, they've made so much money, it's basically worth it. It's nothing to them. And frankly, the message of the video is probably a more negative to microtransactions.
Yes, I assume that they lost thousands because of that video. I kind of hope they lost thousands because of that video. I hope nobody ever buys microtransactions again.
The thing is, I feel like though, at least to you're already it's kind of an echo chamber.
Yeah,
and most people already.
That is why I bumped it up to be the special, because the specials tend to get shared to other people.
I saw it was shared on like GE Online.
Yes, and they were super positive about it as well, which I thought was weird.
No, well, there was a lot of people really pissed about me specifically because I didn't make enough money.
Yeah. But that's the whole point.
There are more efficient ways to grind. I'm like,
when we set this up, I didn't go, right, Matt, make sure you fail and do this sort of thing. It was like, just be playing by yourself and try and do the best thing possible.
I didn't go out of my way to fail. I want to point out, like, a lot of my footage is me sitting in lobbies with nothing happening and having to quit.
Yeah.
And
I'd also like to point out that if Matt had actually managed to spend all of his time making as much money as possible, it still would have. My point would still have been absolutely solid.
I could have made, for probably 400,000 or 500,000 in 2 hours if I was really efficient with it.
I really doubt that.
Then,
Jesus, I doubt that. Not in a single player thing.
If I was really efficient.
You can't heist it. Anyway, that's some backstory of making that video.
John,
come back to us.
Yeah, what? Yeah, yes.
Can I zone out for a bit? Because you guys have zoned out for
You wanted to talk about Fallout 4. You were like, I want to have a big segment.
I want a second to Fallout 4 because Fallout 4 also has DLC problems at the moment.
It does.
Okay, yeah, the new DLC, which I've had to play with.
Is shit.
Well, okay.
Matt, it's shit.
Okay, I'd like to make my point in this.
Okay, you're wrong.
Right? I went into Fallout 4. I built myself a new base with a lift and with warehouse tile sets.
Fit my
which is just the barns, very slightly retextured, but not much.
It is.
Yeah.
I like the floor. I like that the floors are literally the exact same texture with a different filter.
Yeah. Yep, they are the exact same texture. Yeah.
And then I was like, ooh, I can make a factory. And I went, why? These things are all really common in the world. And I was like, okay, right. And I was like, ooh, I can make a ball track. And I went, why would I ever make a ball track? And that was my end of the experience for the DLC.
I can come up with one use for the ball track.
Uh-huh.
You can use it to generate irregular custom patterns of power flows.
Yes.
If you were to wish to. Because you could create a perfectly circular ball track with an elevator to get it back to the beginning, release the balls in a given order, and then if they're passing a pulse switch, then you could create a power surge of, say, pulse, 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 space, pulse, pulse, based on how you're releasing the balls. So you can use it to create custom power pulses. Other than that, it's completely pointless.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, as well, they've added, like, different logic gates, like Minecraft did.
Yeah. Yep.
Or, like, some Minecraft mods did. So, XNOR gates and all that, so you can do it, like, advanced...
But I've read from a few places they don't work perfectly, and some people...
Well, yeah, that's the problem.
They just don't.
That's the problem, like, as well, why?
They added some nice stuff. I really do like the new wiring system you can do, the conduits.
Yes,
the
new conduits are much neater. So that's very, very good.
Well, that's what I'm saying, like, it's not inherently...
The conveyor belts are missing pieces that blatantly should be there, and it's utterly baffling they're not.
This is the thing with the DLC, it's not inherently bad, it's just a bit pointless.
Well, I'd say I've realised the bigger problem when I've been thinking about it, which is the bigger problem is, now that it's something that's paid for, it's got to be available to everyone.
Yeah.
So they can't properly lock it away behind, like, the appropriate skill checks where it ought to be, because once you've paid money, it better all be there for you. So therefore, they've got to make all of it available.
Can I say,
like what you were saying
The Witcher gets around that in a really interesting way, because The Witcher 3 just released Blood and Wine, their like next big expansion pack thing. And it's incredible, but if you don't have the season pass or have it, you won't see it. But you actually need to be level 35. It's like end game stuff.
Well, no,
but the way they get around that, instead of being like, oh, you need to get this, so if people like buy it and then go, oh my god, I have to play through the whole game to get to this thing, you can actually start a new game just using that. Well, not just that. The only thing it does is it takes away the main story. So you don't have the main story, but you get all of the side quests and stuff in the world still. So you can actually basically boost your way up to level 35 and then get like a complete skill tree you want to flatten out, which I really like. And I'm actually now playing The Witcher again at a much higher level than I ever got before.
Well, this is the thing. Like Fallout, like at least New Vegas and 3 DLC, it was very much there wasn't any of these like. I said this when Fallout 4 came out, when they announced the season pass. I said, I hope they don't do the Skyrim model of having 2 big DLCs and a couple of small ones. And that's exactly what they've fucking done.
Yes.
Yeah. Though, there's one thing I'm really, really happy about that. Because it means if Bethesda have basically said, we're washing our hands and we're done with it by the end of August, that massively increases the chances that they might farm it out to someone else. Like Obsidian. Who might make something that's less bad.
One can only hope, but still, I mean, I would much prefer, you know what, as gimmicky as trapping animals in settlements are, kind of it's fun for 5 minutes, and as ball tracks and what like different traps in set. I mean, the thing is, they're all kind of cool looking things in trailers, but they have no. It's much like the thing we were talking about in GTA. They have really no functional purpose.
Yeah. In theory, Minecraft, you kind of get the feeling they've added in all this stuff because they want people to Minecraft style put all these together to create amazing
that's what
machines.
They said.
But you're going to hit because of the limits in the settlements. Unless you're going to like console command or mod out build limits in settlements, you cannot build anything that impressive because you're going to hit build limits before you hit anything that amazing.
Dan, oh god, you're so bad. There's literally just 2 console commands just to make the builds.
I know, but I like my thing.
Yeah, well, either way,
you have some consoles as well, so fuck you mod thing.
That's a fair point. But
I mean, like, right, let's look at the conveyor belts and shit. What is the actual point of that? I mean, I don't like it because it lets you actually craft ammo right from basically the start of the game.
Well, no, this is what John made the point as well, that you can craft like heavy combat.
I checked that. I've checked that. That was not correct. That's tied behind something, but the game doesn't say what it's hidden behind. Because I started a new character and I built all of the stuff you need by level 4, and all that was available on the armor work was like light leather and light metal.
Yes.
I assume it's tied behind subsequent ranks of armor or gunner, whatever the relevant perk is, but it doesn't say anywhere, which is almost unique. In Fallout, it always tells you what the skill check is.
That's odd.
But in this case, it doesn't bother.
What about the ammo and stuff? Is the ammo free for everyone?
Ammo, I think anyone can build at any time if you've got the resources for it. But for early game, lead is hard to come by. There's not much lead lying around, so that's the limiting factor there. So that's not so bad.
But this is the thing to me as well. You made the point as well that it doesn't keep going when you're away, just because of the way the game engine works.
Yeah, it doesn't keep going away. I don't think it goes while you're asleep either. You literally have to stand there and be away from keyboard, in which case you may as well just be crafting it yourself, because you can craft it far faster than it can.
It literally, because is it that the only way to craft ammo is through those new factory things?
Yes, there is no other way to.
Fallout New Vegas had ammo.
So this is like the first time to actually be able to craft, say, a shotgun out of nothing. Right, the materials and stuff. But why is...
yes.
Yeah, but why do we need the conveyor belts and stuff? They don't actually add or do anything.
No, they actually take things away because there's no reason why... In fact, the sorting machine's the worst one, because the sorting machine lets you sort things into separate containers, but why would you ever sort anything in separate containers when if you just put it into one container, you can sort it because the menu system has built-in sorting because you can filter between tabs in any menu system by going into the transfer menu.
And the containers have infinite size. So it seems...
Yes, the containers have infinite size and have built-in sorting capabilities, so why would you ever bother sorting?
They're trying to make it like Minecraft. And I remember he said this in like when they announced Fallout 4, they were heavily influenced by Minecraft. And the problem is, Minecraft is a game where things aren't sorted in the menu system. It's a game where it's multiplayer and there's a lot of emphasis on actual like crafting, a huge emphasis on crafting. It's the whole fucking mining and crafting is the whole.
I think the big point, and you have limited space as well. But the big thing about Minecraft is it's the mining. Minecraft is focused on the gathering of materials and then turning the materials into stuff. That's the thing with Minecraft. That is not the main thrust of Fallout.
I mean,
like,
it's
no,
there
you don't.
if you want to.
You can't go out and mine. You can't go, I'm going to go get some steel. I go to the steel place. You go, I'm going to get some steel. I'm just going to go talk to the lady who sells the steel.
Yeah, there's no ability to produce anything fresh. Like, I thought the whole bloody point would be, you could plug in, say, 6 steel, and then over time that would produce a giddy-up buttercup, and that would therefore, you'd be able to turn steel into gears, and that would be useful.
Yeah.
But every single item of junk you produce costs more of the exact junk it produces to make than you get out of it. So you can never make a profit. Of breaking things down again. So there's no point producing junk. Clothing...
the thing I always thought they would do is you actually have ways of generating materials, is what seems to be massively
that struck
missing.
me as what was the point. That was I assume that was going to be the point. That you could take the raw steel and wood and make it into something useful. But no, you can't.
This is an interesting point. The idea of crafting an assault rifle, right? To get the materials to craft the assault rifle, if you had to go and find them in the first place, you'll probably just find an assault rifle. Before you get all the materials for the damn thing.
Very likely. I mean, I understand, like, some people are telling me, like, it's more about if you're really into setting up settlements, like, in a really micromanaged way. Some people like, say, all their settlers to be dressed in the same clothing, so that's what the auto loom's for, because they like, say, having everyone in a nice suit, for example.
There's some scenarios where it's useful, but it's such a
that's not useful.
Thing.
That's distinctly not useful.
No, when I say useful, I mean useful to people with specific wants.
I mean, the one that really bothers me is producing cram. To produce one cram, you need to give up radstag meat when grilled radstag's amazing. I think it's one dog, one kind of mongrel meat when grilled mongrel is also amazing. And then I can't remember. There's one other thing. Like, you need to give away 3 things of meat to produce a cram. It's like, what? Yeah. Cram's dreadful. What's going on here?
Well, you can craft stuff like wooden toys or whatever it was for no reason whatsoever.
Yep,
they
you
have
can
no
make
problems. See, the way I thought it was going to work is you'd have like an extractor. So this is the thing that extracts metal, this thing extracts water or whatever. And then you'd have, like, on your little settlement area, where you move them around, it would give you, like, a ranking of how effective they'll be in this place. And then you'd need the conveyor belts to join them up. You got the Factorio way of doing it.
Oh, well, actually, this is another interesting point in that you can't link them up to your settlement inventory.
No, you can't.
You kind of can. You can, if you put the vacuum to the side of the settlement inventory, you can suck things out of your inventory, but things that are only in your inventory via merchant links are not allowed to count.
Okay, so that kind of defeats the point even more, because I feel like a lot of the point, because it's about automation, and automation makes sense when you leave it to do its thing. But if you have to be there,
it's the weird version of automation where you have to spend a huge amount of time and resources setting up a conveyor system, and then go away from keyboard for an hour to let it do its thing. When you could have done the work yourself in 5 minutes.
Yeah,
that's it. It's so
the production side is like, there might theoretically be, maybe for high level characters, being able to produce a full set of heavy combat armor, because even for high level characters that doesn't show up very often. Producing your own, when your armor of 4 being able to produce your own heavy combat armor, that is useful.
Give me just an armor creation bench or something. Give me a new bench. Just that'd be fine.
The bench is fine. And there's an argument for saying maybe for high level characters being able to produce your own Gatling laser, you might get a tiny bit earlier than the game gives it to you. Or you might be able to get a combat rifle a little bit earlier.
Oh, great! A whole update, so you get a combat rifle slightly earlier.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, it's kind of. I mean, there's a little bit of fun there if you're a creative person who just wants to build something silly, but that's not what Fallout's for.
Yeah, I can't really see much of a point for it. The fireworks I really don't like.
I like the fireworks because you can change the weather.
Yeah, that's what I don't like. It feels like they've just basically enabled console commands in the base game.
Also, there's a paintball gun.
I don't even understand what that's for. I don't understand what the stationary gun's for, because that sucks up power to produce only 3 defense, which is the worst trade in the world. So what's it bloody for?
I think it's supposed to be used with the stock. So you put someone in the stocks and it fires paintballs at their head, I think.
But what's the static gun for? When you want to execute people in the stocks?
I don't know.
It's just I don't get it at all.
I mean, most of the things I don't get, and it's just I feel like, you know what? Yeah, you can have some fun with it, no doubt about it. You can have some fun with it if you want to, but it feels really redundant.
I liked Wasteland Workshop a lot more than this.
Well, Wasteland Workshop, it was a lot of nice cosmetic things that were missing.
I like the lights.
I feel it was a lot of stuff that it was a lot of stuff that were going, yeah, why wasn't this in it in the first place? And this is a lot of stuff I'm going, well, why? I mean, we didn't need any of this, really.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like the addition of the warehouse tile set, that could have just been in a free update.
Don't forget the scaffolding. That's important.
Those two things, legitimately, they could have just been in a free update on their own.
To be perfectly honest, my favourite thing they've added so far has been concrete. That concrete's really nicely done. I like
the concrete's a bit nice. It feels like you're living in a shack.
Yeah, it's like we're actually making a place here now.
Yeah.
I've got a very nice city being
the barn's nice. I like building with the barn material because that's not shack-like at all. That's properly solid.
The new warehouse stuff is pretty nice as well, actually.
I do like the barn stuff. That's fine. Then they realised everyone liked the barn stuff. Said, I know. What if we just give them the barn stuff again? Maybe they'll be as happy as.
You can make a greenhouse now if you want.
Yeah.
That's the end of the warehouse things to modify now.
But I just, as I say, it just seems redundant, and it annoys me because I feel like they could have spent. I mean, it clearly had a fair amount of work put into it.
Yeah. But I think it's the wrong kind of work. Like sometimes, you can feel the difference between something that a team of professionals has made and released as actual DLC versus something a modder has made. Because the modder doesn't really consider law or balance or anything. It's just the modder will just produce a bunch of fun shit they like the look of, whereas the developer will produce something that's much more holistic. And I think you can genuinely feel the differences. Why I'm not as into modding as I am to the stuff that DLCs add into games. But to me, Wasteland Workshop felt like proper DLC to me. It felt like you could feel Bethesda's hand on it much better. Whereas, to my mind, I think you actually look at Contraptions, and it feels like something a modder put together. It feels like a bunch of random shit that a couple of people threw together, and there's no consistency or whole or theme or rhythm to it. It's just
this is
stuff.
it, right? Let's say lore-wise, right? You get out the vault, your husband's dead, your son's missing. Spoilers.
Yeah.
Your son's missing, and you go and you do this, and you go to Concord, and blah, blah, and you get back, and, you level up a little bit, and you go, you know what? I suddenly know how to make an automatic assembly line.
Yep.
Yeah, but they didn't dare lock it behind robotics expert or science, because then some people wouldn't have been able to build them. And if you've paid money, you've got to be able to build them.
And, you know what I feel like doing as well? I know my son's at risk, but I'm going to make a big ball track to activate a machine that fires paintballs at someone.
The best thing that ever happened was the very first time I played Fallout 4, I stepped out of the vault and went down to Sanctuary Hill, and I was really kind of like super like, oh my god, this is haunting. That was a really good opening, seeing the pre-war and now post-war, and it's ruined. And it was genuinely a really impressive opening, like wandering through the silent Sanctuary Hills for the first time. And just wandering along, and I was like going behind the house where there's those melons growing, and just kind of clicked them because I wanted to like pick up some food. So okay, it'd be good to get some food. And immediately my character goes, I should set someone to work on these. What? You literally, at this point, you've come out, you've been surrounded by nothing but skeletons, you've been muttering anxiously to yourself in the vault. Is there no one else left? Am I the only one alive? You come down and just find a melon. I should hire a gardener. It really took me out.
It ruins the mood, doesn't it?
That's all it was.
It was just kind of like, I should really hire someone to mine these melons for me. Go. I was like, wow, you came round to the Apocalypse Society really quickly there.
I feel like it's a place. There's contraptions. There's so many places in this where they could have stuck stuff. Like the fireworks, for instance, right? They do nothing. They're just there to go, beep, and that's the thing. Apart from the weather changing, hilarious ones. But like, why didn't they have it so you can launch fireworks, but that has two effects. One, you get a boost on happiness with your settlers, but two, you become way more likely to be attacked. There you go.
That'd be great.
Now it has a thing.
I think as I kind of mentioned when I'm going over the fireworks, like when I was looking at this, I basically said, like, theoretically you could use a combination of alternating switches, timings on PCs, and indeed irregular timings using the ball tracks to come up with your own actual fireworks display, but I would recommend not doing that and instead turning off Fallout 4 and just playing Roller Coaster Tycoon 3, because that's a much better user interface for planning fireworks displays.
Yes, it is.
Why would you bother making a fireworks display in Fallout 4?
Yeah, it's literally a huge waste of materials and time, and it would have a really, really unhelpful UI to make it with.
Yeah.
So, you could, in the same way that if I wanted to make a new hole in my wall, I could do it by banging my head against the wall until there is a hole, but there's not really much point.
Exactly, and I feel one of the big things that bothers me about this DLC as well is it thematically it feels off.
Oh,
yeah, I want it to be retroactively reapplied back into Fallout 3 by an official patch, where like now when you go into the pit, Asher kind of stands up and says, "We are the only place on the East Coast where there is working industry, apart from this one housing estate in Boston, where for some reason this one woman who just came out of cryostasis just built a massive assembly line. But other than her, we are the only source of industry in Boston."
Well, that's it. Like, I think
actually, he actually says that. I just thought that. Like in the pit, when you're about to be taken into the arena for the first time, Asher actually stands and says, "Our industry is the envy of the Commonwealth." It's like, oh no, it's not. Not anymore.
Just
there's this one woman in the Commonwealth. There's this one woman in the Commonwealth, and she has put your industry to shame, mate.
I mean, and I think the thing with silliness in Fallout is I think silliness has a very important place in Fallout. But it needs to be...
It's a Mad Max kind of silliness. It's that insanity that grips some people, and it's the silliness that comes through that. Is what I've read. It's never just like Dead Rising, wacky.
It's silly scenarios as well. Like Little Lamplight.
Yeah.
Like Little Lamplight's a ridiculous scenario, but it's not.
But there's a real darkness in Little Lamplight too. There's a real dark sting in the tail.
All the silly things you find have darkness with them.
It's the contrast. It's what made Saints Row 2 way better than 3 and 4. It works. That's when you get like the new Dead Rising games, where for the first 10 minutes it's the most serious, intense zombie thing, and then it goes whee, and suddenly you're riding a little fucking Zamboni around, running everyone over.
But yeah, there's no darkness to the lightness in a lot of especially the settlement stuff in Fallout.
I mean, the settlement still feels such a way. I just want them to be attacked more. Like, I've built a thing, I want to go, right, come and have a go if you think you're odd enough. I've built this
you can
thing.
do that. Set up cages, capture super mutants and rage events, don't let them out.
I did that,
and
about 2 people attacked and nothing happened.
I've done that. I did it with Deathclaws as well. The Deathclaws actually got Deathclaws to attack my base, which is the first time I've ever had that happen. But since I've tried that again, it just doesn't work.
Oh, I got really bored once and just spawned a bunch of shit on the bridge.
Yeah.
And at Sanctuary Hills, and just to test my defenses. I spawned... I mean, you can spawn... I spawned 500 raiders, which the game had a little bit of a problem with me doing, gotta be honest. But it kept up, and they all died.
Yep.
And I tried a bunch of different things. I tried fucking... what are the big super mutants called?
Behemoths.
Behemoths. I spawned about, 10 behemoths, and they always come... I've got a big robot army and shit. The only thing that my base had a problem with were Mirelurk Kings, because fuck me. Oh my god, they just got past everything. They just ran past everything and just have loads of health. And that was fun.
Yeah. That's what I want. That's because the settlements at the moment, you build a thing and you go, build some houses. Right, that's useless to me now. I need a thing. Basically, in a settlement, all you need is a place to store your stuff. And that's the only rule you're usually getting out of it as a player. They never actually really... do anything else. I mean, maybe in survival mode.
On survival mode, they're a little bit more... Even as someone who's put a lot of hours into survival mode now, for the most part, basically, aside from your one main settlement, which does have to be properly laid out, because you can't carry much stuff with you, you have to very carefully lay everything out, and you use separate containers, and it's all properly organised and stuff. And it needs to be a really big adhesive farm and food farm, and produce a ton of water and da-da-da-da. For the most part, most settlements you find, you still follow the basic rule of, as long as it has a water pump, a source of food, and enough defences to make sure it probably won't be attacked.
Yeah.
And a couple of beds. You don't really need much. There's still not much point investing much more than that, aside from just a couple of settlements dotted around that are your main.
There's a lot of shallowness to them, isn't there?
Oh, they're totally shallow. I think they're good fun to build. I mean, I've spent a lot of time building very pretty looking.
No, I have as well.
And stuff, and then the AI bounce into the walls, and the cows appear.
And then after you've spent ages building it, this ceiling refuses to clip on because the ceiling never clips on properly because the roofs genuinely despise you in Fallout.
Well, this is it. You sat there, and you got your 20 settlers, and they don't have any personalities, and they don't mean anything, and they're just there.
Yeah,
and it's stuff. Why do I care? And nothing you do seems. I mean, your happiness meter changes, and that's it.
You know what would make the settlements so much better is if they were attacked more and the settlers could just die.
And they had personalities, and they actually...
No, because if they could simply just die, I would actually put more effort into giving a shit.
Settlers can die.
Some of them do. One thing I didn't know that I've told, actually, is, Vault Tech Rep in Good Neighbour?
Yeah.
If you sign him to Sanctuary and then you don't give him a job, he kills himself, commits suicide.
Yes, I'm aware of that because Rebecca didn't get to him in time and he had offed himself, so she actually rolled back about 7 or so hours of game.
Which I actually really quite like. That's genuinely nice.
I don't like that because he bugged the fuck out for me and I couldn't assign him to anything.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, a lot of that damn.
Especially since he's a legendary trader, so if you make him a shop trader, he carries loads of really good stuff, which is cool.
Yeah, I've never got anything special out of him.
But that's it though. I hate the idea of that. Hancock, for example. Hancock goes, you know what? I'm ready to, I'm losing touch. I want to get out there and see the world. And you go, okay, go to Sanctuary Hills and farm corn.
Yeah.
And there is no complaint at all.
Yeah,
but Piper's fine too. Piper joined up with me because she wanted to learn the amazing stories that she'd get from travelling around with me. Then I immediately put her onto corn farming duties, and she just quietly got on with it.
I can get the settlers not complaining, but why don't they? It feels the settlements have always felt to me. While I enjoy the building, sure, they've always felt off thematically, and this new DLC just takes that.
I think thematically, building a settlement, building a nice big wall round Starlight Park, and going, I live here. You just start. That is how the rest of the Commonwealth came together. That's the people who go. They make a stand and say, I have a place in this world now. That's a very human thing to do. It's just that once you've built that thing, there's no real personality to it.
I feel it's a bit
now
too
I feel like
easy.
I'm missing out because I never at any point in my life have I gone out into the middle of a field, built a wall around it and said, this is mine now.
See,
this is my domain. All hail King John.
I've done that.
I'd love it if it worked more a bit like sort of Prison Architect, where that you go, okay, I need all this built here, but none of it will actually build, like, except for the basic stuff, like if you build structures and stuff, none of it will build unless you have some people there who can actually build it for you when it takes time, and it's not just like, you know what,
See,
I'm going to build a house.
Unfortunately mentioned Prison Architect, and I know for a fact that's how I'm going to spend my evening.
Have you also basically just suggested that Fallout 4 will be improved by adding wait times into it, Matt? Because if so, I may have to throttle you to death.
No, legitimately. Right, not huge ones.
You see, in Prison Architect, the wait times are important because I try and do stuff overnight because I'm demolishing walls and trying to build things back up. And if shit hits the fan, it's because I didn't actually get the right workers in the right place at the right time. So there's actually a point to all that stuff.
Well, there's mechanics to it, and if settlements were attacked more, like, because the thing is, it's like, oh, you know what, I want to get away from whatever's on the ground, so I'm just gonna, in about the space of 3 minutes, build a big tower, demolish the floor, and sleep in the top in this
but Fallout's full of stuff like that. It's full of time acceleration just to make it a more fun game experience, like sleeping and stuff, and just sitting around and wait. Your character can sit.
Sleeping is not fun in survival mode. You wake up with parasites and all sorts of diseases.
I'm fine with like little speed up. I just think being able to build a whole house in 10 minutes is just off. I think
not 10 minutes. More... If you go into the prefabs, you just press a button and there's a house.
Well, that's it. I
went up. You can just literally, like, the first time you get Sanctuary Hills, you can activate the workbench, go up to a tree and pull it down with your mighty fist in 1 second, and then go over to an empty spot and say there shall be a house there, and this is now a house.
I just feel like
in 3 button pushes you can build a house.
Yeah, but that's just the game going, right, let's just speed this up. Nobody wants to be here going chop, chop. This isn't fucking Rust. This is Fallout.
I don't think it should be done. No, I don't think it should be done like that. I do think, however, that, you know, like in Sanctuary Hills, the first settlement, you get Codsworth there. He's default there. You know, you're like, okay, I need this tree cut down. I need, you know, these things. And Codsworth's like, you know, I can do that for you. And he does it, and it takes some time, and he has to go around doing them.
Yeah. I would not mind a survival-ish mode variation where you could actually, like, you do genuinely, it takes time to do things, like you have to chop things down, and it takes time to build, and you need to assign people to build things.
That's my least favourite thing about 90%
I hate it if you had to chop things down manually. I mean, if you could actually assign settlers to do those things, and, you know, instead of being able to build a whole wall around the Starlight Drive in, you know, whatever, 5 minutes, that, you know, you can assign all those areas to be walls, and then your people have to stop building them, and then it becomes night, and then there's an issue because fucking, you know,
I feel like stuff like that really hampers creativity. You know? Like I the other day I was like, I want to build a slums. I want to build a big skyscraper out of concrete that's basically filled with beds, and it's my slum. So when people can first turn up, they can live there, and then, you know, they can get houses and stuff. But that I then built across the course of like a day or two in the game because I was just going through it all. But if I had to build a bit of thingy and then wait for a settler to come over and click the thing, or I had to sit there and wait for it to go building now, I don't think that adds anything. I just think that slows me down.
I think you'd probably do it with like wireframing. In creative mode, you could fly and do wireframing, and then you could commit to it, and then people would start building it. And you could actually build the whole structure of it.
I agree with you a bit, but that's why I like the idea of what John said about the idea of having a survival mode variant of the settlements.
Yeah. I'm still holding out for Nuka World to come out with the equivalent of, because when the final Skyrim DLC came out, it came out with a new high difficulty. I want a new high difficulty because survival is too easy.
Yeah.
I want the equivalent of Skyrim legendary difficulty to be shipped with Nuka World. I want something harder yet. I need a harder difficulty.
Of course you do.
It's too easy. It's too easy once you get to about level 35. It's doable at that point.
I mean, the early game was really tense.
It's bloody terrifying. Like it's made me completely fall all in love with Fallout 4 all over again. Doing the first 10 to 20 levels of survival mode was amazing.
You know, then you get higher levels, and then you get to the Brotherhood, and then you have all the settlements set up, and then you get like the fucking vertibirds and the grenades at like 20.
But I kind of like that progression. I like it's the same reason I quite like the progression in say Far Cry 3 and 4. Which is you spend, at the beginning, you're kind of scrappy and you're really struggling. But once you actually, especially in Far Cry 4, I think, once you get to about the mid-game, actually you have become much more powerful. Rather than the enemies just scaling up to match you, so it's the same challenge as before, actually you can coast a bit more because you're much more established. I like the feeling of growth as a character, that I've come from nothing, and it was really hard at first, but I worked hard and invested, and now, as a result, I've got these allies and these vertibirds and these much better guns and this much better armor. I feel like I've been rewarded for my planning and hard work, and I like that.
I agree, but I think they should just be a bit more balance in the sense the vertibird things. I think the single grades should be more expensive.
Oh yeah,
there
massively. I totally agree on that. The vertibird grades are way too cheap.
The vertibirds you're in when flying should be more flimsy because they're flimsy anyway. But I mean, when you're flying in them, they're pretty strong.
They seem to be invisible as well. Unless you start trouble, no one really seems to shoot at them.
I feel they should be attacked. And I feel they should be a bit more flimsy. So there is a risk to going in them. There is I could save time, but there's a risk here. I'm spending quite a bit of money, and I'm using a rare resource. I might die.
It feels really damn good though. Like it creates a whole new sensation of things. Like when you go to the end of the glowing sea. And having finally made it to the end of Glowing Sea, which, by the way, Glowing Sea, you have to do all in one go because there is literally no place you're allowed to save or rest in the Glowing Sea.
Oh, yeah.
Because all the beds are on rads and you can't sleep in rads. So you literally have to do the entirety of the Glowing Sea in one go, which is amazing to do. And then when you're done with it, actually calling in a vertibird and just being carried out by air is the most amazing feeling. It's genuinely fantastic.
One of my favourite experiences in Fallout 4 was when I was playing it on the PS4, and I found... Quincy ruins. That filled with gunners, and I wandered in there about level 10.
Ooh. And then Baker blew you up with a fat man. I know how the story ends.
No, I survived. I was alive. I was fucking crippled. I ran out of stim packs. I managed to kill fucking Tessa. I managed to kill the 2 guys in power armor. I was being attacked from all fucking sides. Super mutants fucking turned up. It was this fucking war zone, and it was mad and insane. I couldn't survive, and I fucking called in a vertibird, and the vertibird fucking came down and gave me some support, and I fucking was trying to get to the limping towards the fucking vertibird, over encumbered with all the fucking really expensive high level shit I'd gotten, fucking with no stim packs left, fucking being attacked. This amazing and I got to the vertibird, and as I got to the vertibird fucking exploded and I died, and that was amazing, but. And I feel like that should still be a thing that happens even when you're level 30, 40
It can do. If you've not done... what's the one... I always call it Death from Above. It's not called Death from Above. That's from Fallout 3, Broken Steel. The one where you're attacking Fort Strong from the Vertibird, and you have to take on the Behemoth and all the other super mutants.
Yeah,
That on survival mode is insanely tricky.
I watched one of that, yeah.
Fucking hell, that is really hard to do.
It's because of the way it's structured, the way you have to take out the behemoth. Since we don't have much time left, just want to talk about as well the next 2 DLCs, Nuka World, which we don't have any information for really.
But that really needs to be as good as Far Harbor. I
don't think it will be.
It could be. I like the idea. Of a theme park with different themed worlds, so they could be aesthetically. It's going to be really different.
No, that'd be great. But I feel like faction wise and I like
my
how
Fallout
dark...
thinks that's installed on my main menu. On my add-ons list, it says installed.
It says in the game, it says you can just purchase it outright and says it's out.
Yeah.
When you... I don't know why.
The thing that's going to make or break it for me is it going to feel like a proper conclusive end to Fallout 4 as a game? Because I'd say a good final DLC can do a lot to ease people's dissatisfaction with what's come before. I still say that Mass Effect 3's Citadel salvaged the ending of Mass Effect 3 completely, because Mass Effect 3 Citadel was the perfect ending. It was beautiful. It was just... And anyone who's played Mass Effect 3 and really didn't like the ending and walked away from Mass Effect at that point being really dissatisfied, didn't bother with the DLC, play Mass Effect 3 Citadel. It is the most perfect ending to that franchise imaginable. It is beautiful.
Yep.
Well, that's it. Hopefully it'll be good. And then the other DLC is the Vault Tech, build your own vault.
Which I'm really hoping is going to be like Automatron,
It is going to be Automatron. It's got story and missions and stuff apparently to it.
It's better. It needs to.
Yeah. And those small scale story DLCs I'm quite excited for.
Yeah.
I mean, what they've done with this, they've done 2 large DLCs. They've done 2 kind of small DLCs, and then they've done 2 very small DLCs as opposed to 5 medium DLCs like they did previously. And I'm a bit mixed because on one hand, the good deal, the big Far Harbor was amazing. But on the other hand, I liked having all the different experiences in Fallout New Vegas and 3. Every DLC was such a different environment and experience.
Oh, I just remembered something. Bethesda don't have a good history for ending their Fallout games on a high.
No.
You see, I had to actually write my own fucking ending for Fallout 4.
You did, yeah.
Because the final Fallout... the ending of Fallout 3, the final DLC Fallout 3 was Mothership Zeta, the one everyone hates. Because it's garbage. I mean, it's got good loot, but it's garbage.
Oh, really? I forgot.
That was the final one that came out, and that was terrible.
Technically the canon ending.
That's the only DLC that about 2/3 of the way through, I'm literally thinking, God, I just want this to end.
I mean, yeah, there's that, and I'm worried about that. And then this, I'm excited for this Vault-Tec one because the story stuff seems kind of interesting. And you know what? I mean, it's functionally silly, but building your own Vault-Tec vault,
it's quite fun.
Kind of fits.
The Vault experiments could be fun.
Yeah, I mean, thematically, you can be like, your character's angry and mad and...
I mean, I've said all along, if they add guinea pigs into the game so you can actually create the carnivorous guinea pig vault, all is forgiven. That's it. I'm happy.
I wonder how far it'll let us go with it, really. That's my question.
Carnivorous guinea pig, that's all I need.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Will it let us make fucking any vault we want, or will it be, like, super limited? Or
super limited, one space only, you've got to do these certain objectives, end of DLC.
Yeah.
Possibly, yes.
What happened?
But I think the Nuka-Cola World thing... I wonder, because it says installed, I wonder if it's actually on the map somewhere. And no one's found it yet.
It'll normally be off... These are normally off map.
Yeah, because they're ever so slightly off the map. I wonder if you could just walk to a bit of the map and then they've added like a little section up north somewhere.
I think you'd notice if it downloaded like 5 gigs of DLC.
Unless it's been downloading it little by little.
No.
Probably not.
No doubt.
Only probably.
No, just not even probably, just no.
Even if you could theoretically see something, it's probably not. Like there is famously, like in Skyrim, you can actually look south and see bits of the White Gold Tower.
Yep.
But it's not. It never came out in DLC. People think, oh, so that's going to be DLC then, because look, you can see it to the south. But no, that was just a little bit of flavour. It wasn't actually there. So
yeah.
Bethesda have form for putting in stuff that you can vaguely see in the distance that doesn't necessarily mean anything.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know. Overall, I think Fallout 4's DLC is reasonably strong.
Yeah. I mean, it's nowhere near as good as New Vegas's.
No,
but I'd say on balance, it's as good as Fallout 3's.
I think Far Harbor's still like the best DLC.
I would say it's overtaken the Pit in my affections as the best one ever. Yeah.
But at the same time, I think overall, I prefer getting 5 interesting. Even though you get like Mothership Zeta, and I mean, a lot of people say they really don't like Sierra Madre.
Oh, Dead Money was a fun experiment.
Well, that's the thing.
And it was really good plot, really good story.
I don't know, Dan, you haven't played this, but like the idea that like it changed the gameplay up so much and does something completely different and experiments with a different style of gameplay, and I really like having to play the game differently, and I like it giving me a different experience. That's what I want out of that.
It's also really important to note that Dead Money was the first DLC, so loads of people went into it thinking, well, I'm a high-level character and I know this game really well. This will be super easy, for I have all my gear and all my skills and I'm amazing. So the first DLC had to be the one that literally punched you in the gut and said, no, you are my bitch now.
For context, Dan, Sierra Madre is the first DLC. You go to a fucking random bunker. You get knocked out by sleeping gas. You wake up with a bomb collar around your neck and everything removed. There's poisonous gas everywhere and these weird creatures with gas masks on that want to kill you.
And they don't die. They keep coming back.
Yeah. And then you have to go around saving someone who's had a vocal cords cut out. And then there's some weird plot with a casino. And then the guy wants to murder you.
Everyone wants to murder you.
Everyone wants to murder you.
Even the people that say they don't totally do.
It's a horrible experience, but it's totally...
Sounds fun.
It's really good as well because... in the end, you get to a vault and there's like loads of gold. Like tons of it, like 50 bars of gold, and they're all worth $5,000 or something like that.
Yeah.
But you can only carry like 5 before you're over encumbered. And there are ways. I did it on... I managed to do it. Like you can actually pick them all up and go out over encumbered. If you can play it well enough, you can get it all. And it's a... interesting DLC. It's a dark DLC. But
Matt just broke the story, by the way, because the whole point is the theme of the DLC is supposed to be let go, and that greed is what dooms people. So if you try and take all the gold unless you're over encumbered, you don't have time to get out of the vault, and that means you die and you leave. And there is actually a non-conventional game over that says you just fucked up and now you're stuck down there forever. But if you try and take it all out. So you're only supposed to be take out a tiny little bit, and then you're supposed to run out because that's all you've got time to do. But yes, there are ways to break the game and break the story thematically by taking
Fuck
it all.
your thing!
Hey, I was just a good player. And then obviously you had Over Blues, which is a bit silly and...
A bit silly?
Okay, it was very silly and camp, but it fit within the Fallout universe. Didn't feel too out of place, And then you had something like Lones of Road, which was serious, and it was kind of not terribly interesting.
Like Dead Money, it's a beautiful example of storytelling through mechanics.
And Far Harbor, to me, it's still the best DLC, I think, but it was a lot kind of more of the same, and it was kind of what a lot of New Vegas did that we wanted from Fallout 4.
Yeah.
And I like that, but I kind of think I would have preferred several new experiences. Dan, have you even played Far Harbor, Dan?
Yeah, I'm playing through it. I mean, I'm still playing through the actual main game. And I'm playing through The Witcher, Blood and What's Its Tits.
You should really try and play, like, even on Fallout New Vegas, literally, even if you don't like the base game, try and just give some of the DLC a go. Like, do some cons commands to level up your character a little bit, and just go try and do and just see what they're like, because they're all basically different games entirely.
Except apart from Honest Hearts, which isn't that special.
Okay, fuck Honest Hearts, that's very boring. But the other ones, it's basically this weird stealth, kind of slightly psychological horror game, and other one's this weird, like, camp 50s robotic comedy.
Well, mercifully, we're in the summer slump now, so I might actually get some time eventually to play some video games, although it does mean that tonight all I'm playing is Prison Architect, because Matt's a prick.
You're welcome.
Matt's a prick. Are we done with this thing? Because I'm really fucking late.
You need to go at 10.
I need to go at 10.
Yeah, right. No, anyone got any more news?
No.
The Steam sale starts tomorrow. Go spend money.
The Steam sale's already started, VOD people.
Has it? Ooh, nice.
It's almost like, they're in the future, John. Anyway, thank you for listening.
Yeah.
Dan's been very unenthused by this whole conversation.
Well, I kind of zoned out. I'm really hungry.
I noticed.
Ooh, Watch Dogs 2 sounds good.
Nobody cares.
No, they do.
That's it.
On that...
They've said there's no towers. There's no towers.
Yeah,
they're taking the towers out.
Yeah, because you got to climb up fucking buildings this time instead.
No, it's going to be different because there's going to be no main story. All you need to, if you want to, you can just free roam and you complete the entire game by free roaming.
Okay, that sounds
fun. Sounds really...
Watch it be nothing like that.
But we can talk about that next week because this is now a weekly show and only 2 hours long. Hooray!
Yay!
It's done now. Bye, everybody.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye.